for you to just get ran over. It is a direct age-old counter to the Slark though, and that might be what Bleed are hoping to achieve.
Prepare for battle.
It's great into the Timber Saw as well, right? You rupture the Timber Saw and he just stops.
Yeah. Actually, it's pretty good against everyone in the lineup. The silences are really going to mess up these supports. But
even the Slark, right? You catch him with his pants down. Obviously, you should be able to Dark Pact off every single silence from the Bloodseeker. But just in case, right? You catch him with his pants down, and that silence will be the end of Slark.
Yeah. Paddles making use of that night vision to get advance notice of whether there's any vision in the area. The level 1's pretty scary from both sides. Hook and Disruption. And LSA on one. And the ability to Flame Break, Pounce, and Dragonite Stun on the other. Might not necessarily be the ideal ways to start out your skill levels, but if you get a kill, who cares, right?
You gotta look for some sort of hook. Right, that's really the only way you're getting first blood here. If you run into Darleng's lineup, you're probably just gonna feed.
Yeah. Okay. Crash, what are our expectations here, right? You look at this lineup, this is the third time I'm gonna ask you this series. What are we thinking? Are we liking Bleed? Are we liking Darling? What's going on? How do you expect this game to play out?
Look, I'm going to put my faith in Masaro's Pudge. Do I think it's going to be reliable enough? Probably not. I think at the end of the day, we are going to see a Darling victory. I think they have just more of a stable team right now. But my eyes, they're going to be on Masaro's once again. If Pudge can get off to a great start, who knows what this game is going to look like.
Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be a 2-for-1 rune trade as DJ was forced to deny his bounty and Palos was able to actually pick up that bounty mid-air while the Pudge was hooking it. Some fancy footwork there. So we get off to our first game 3 on this stream and between you and me, Crash.
It's been our first third game in a hot minute, like across multiple tournaments.
Oh, Masaros, our eyes are on him, but so are the Execration. Safe lane Palos. Has he bitten off a mid more than he can chew? Masaros gets that first blood. Once again, it's DJ just setting up for the squad. Last auto attack Masaros. He's able to just juke around the tree line. The vision, he's playing with him. The range creep will spot him out. The last auto attack, the regen. Are you kidding me? He's just being able to walk out of there in the disruption just in time. Masaros walks free. And oh man, one last frame break. The damage. The regen, it's just too much. He'll be fine here, and that's not how you want your lane to start out.
No, and Yoden's got to be careful, right? If he gets hooked by Masaros, he still might die, whether or not Masaros has HP or not.
Yeah, just get melted in an instant. Really nice play from Masaros to just juke around that tree line and buy enough time for DJ spells to come off cooldown. Help him out there. This offlane has so much work to do.
But we've seen Masaros. We've talked about Masaros quite a lot, right? If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him.
Okay, so a little bit of a caveat, right? Because him building the Veil and the Shivas, no-brainer. Armor, good in that particular game they won. What's kind of the adaptation in this game? Because it's a very different story.
Yeah, I think we might see something more along the lines of Eternal Shroud, as well as that Shivas, just to kind of cover both of your bases.
Sure. And BKB at any point here, I mean, you are fighting into a lot of magic now.
Absolutely. Like, potentially third, fourth item. Once again, like, it's about if you're going to forego the Aghanim Scepter or not, which is going to depend on how Masaros' lane goes.
Dude, honestly speaking, if you went like... okay, I know this sounds crazy. You're going to have to humor me a bit here. But if you went BKB Rush, I wouldn't even be so mad.
No, I think that's okay. I much prefer seeing Blink first on Pudge if you're going to do something risky like that. Just instead of having to, like, because if you BKB, you're then walking into them, right? Yeah. It just feels so... And Pudge is not a fast hero. He is very slow. And you take a look at even just the movement, the base movement speed on these heroes, right? Bat Rider's going to be running away from you. You're not going to be able to catch the Slark. Timbersage is going to chains away. And so you're left with the DK and the Lion.
Right, but we're under the impression that Darling are going to be fleeing from you. My thought is the second this DK gets his level 6, they're going to have to try starting to posture around towers and get that angle and get that objective, and that's where Masaros can strike, right? He just needs to find an angle, land a hook, and then you kind of need to make a decision. Do I just lose this hero, or do I run in and fight? And you run in a fight, he pops BKB as an Abaddon behind him. Might just be the little strat here to deal with what Darling have on the table.
It could be. Like I said, I don't mind it. I just think it might be a little risque.
True. Playing a little. Funnily enough, the safest possible option ends up being a little bit off the wall.
Yeah. Absolutely. BKBs are going to be crucial for all of the cores this game on Bleed now that we're talking about it, right? Every single one of them needs it.
Lawson with the rotation over, not going to be able to stop Drake from just landing a stun, but able to at least secure the water rune for Mikoto. Oh, great. Lawson, he's just running it.
Lawson's dead.
Oh my goodness, Peloson. Okay, well, that's not what you wanted. The tip to come out.
Yeah, tip. He deserved that tip. You deserve that tip, Peloson.
Yeah, I mean, that's I know last game was hard, buddy, but I know it's an enticing kill, but giving that over to Drake. I mean, he's gonna spend a lot of time out of lane because you want to prioritize the Timbersaur's HP. So any additional little juice that he can get on the outside is so much more valuable.
And the only reason that kill doesn't go their way is because there's no levels into LSA on the Lina.
Oh, okay. Wait, I didn't even realize. Yeah, Mikoto just prioritizing that Dragon Slave and the auto attack potential because honestly, what does LSA even do for you in this lane?
Yeah. Jotun. No, he's fine. He's in between the creeps. He's A-okay. This is this top lane slowing down definitely favors Darling.
Yeah, I feel like this game slowing down favors Darling as well because you kind of want to amplify the pressure that you have as a result of this patch. We've seen what happens when you get into a mid-game and you're not that tanky beast that can stand on the front lines and threaten.
Speaking of threatening.
Radiant are scanning.
Oh, beautiful stun. Set up onto Mikoto. There is the TP from DJ to help him out. Disruption coming through onto Yoei. Might be needed, but DJ actually doesn't have the mana for it. Finally finds it as Mikoto able to finish off the kill onto Yota. Now they're looking at Yoei as well. Great stuff from DJ to answer right back.
A good response, just barely enough. DJ probably not counting his mana, which to be fair, what you can't count your mana when you're making that snap decision.
You just need to get in there, and that's exactly what he does. Lucky
just
as
trust
well.
You have the mana. Like, trust and pray.
Even if you don't, you just gotta be like, okay, I got no mana now. You're gonna have to wait. Like, what?
You
can
be a
do,
body, right?
Yeah.
You just be a body at that point.
Distract them a little bit, like twerk or something.
Yeah. Really get them going.
You ever see Shadow Demon Booty?
I can't say that I haven't. I'm quite glad that I haven't.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, clearly something that Yoei is not interested in as well. He was dead set on trying to finish up because oh,
Jesus.
I
mean, fair enough. Fair enough, right? Like DK's like, okay, chill.
Yeah, relax. Don't you, Lina's like, don't you know I make dragon slaves, you idiot? Get out of here. That's a matchup. That's a matchup right there. Now, all things considered, Yoei is still doing very well, right? Matching CS for CS with this Lina in the mid lane. And that's kind of to be expected. We were just wondering whether that matchup would slightly favor Mikoto. Still pretty even Stevens. Jotun, he's really deep. Oh, this is a really nice ward here that might set them up for some action later on.
Yeah, if DK, especially if DK can get this tower down, right, and you send people in from bleed to defend it, all of a sudden you're caught behind your tower under a ward. All the vision gained for Darling is gonna. We've already talked about how important vision is this series.
Yeah. I mean, specifically for this game, it really applies for the Pudge. But everybody else, they have their ways of getting it, right? Like, so that you can send in the Shadow Demon Illusions, Peloson can act like a meat shield. You're running through, trying to commit. Palos comes through, Twin Gate. Should be able to pick up his first Essence Shift stack of the game. Straight into his pocket. That's kind of the problem with the Timbersaw. You can't threaten the tower itself, so you need to bring allies to kill them off, and then you're relying on the creeps to do it for you.
Denied.
Well, the sixes overall have been hit a lot sooner than bleeds. And that comes down to these supports kind of ganking instead of sitting in lane soaking XP.
Palos, who's looking for more now. Jackie's still at that level 5. Very enticing target. Yoei, he's coming in. Uh-oh. This Bloodseeker's in trouble by his own tier 2. The stun comes out and Palos will be able to mop him up. Doesn't have nearly enough HP to survive that. And Nah, he's fine. Yeah, TP out. Level 6.
If
Nobody can see
Masaros
him.
finished that TP
Radiant's
though,
bottom
that could have been
tower is
danger.
under attack.
Yeah, but even then, you just pop your ult and walk away.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Pudge doesn't have
Yeah.
Dismember yet.
Yeah, we're all level 5, and things are going Darling's way. I can't help but feel like Bleed. You need to try and get a grip of this early game.
Bottom tower
If
has
not,
fallen.
Darling, they're more than capable of running away with it with their lineup.
They need their 6s on heroes other than Lina, though. They need this Dismember. They need this Rupture to start making moves around the map.
Pelosa's trying to come down here and sap some EXP, but it almost looked like that range creep last hit was going to cost him.
Okay. BOT's finished from Makoto, so she can be anywhere.
Yeah, the problem is where do you go? Maybe towards the top side to finally finish that tower off with the Pudge. That's really the only place that's available. You don't want to take any more space in the bot side away from that struggling Bloodseeker.
And Lina isn't the easiest hero to gank with. Obviously, you have the burst potential, but who are you ganking, right? The Slark, who can just run away from you? Or the Timbersaw, who is incredibly tanky and hard to deal with, especially with that Veil. You just have the potential turnaround on the Timbersaw.
I kind of feel like you have to try though. I'll be honest. Like Bleed, I'm waiting for a smoke move out from DJ as well as Mikoto to try and get something done. Laguna Blade is off cooldown.
Now that you have Rupture and Dismember, I'd like to see Bleed bring in another core to this game.
Using the Shadow Demon ultimate. That's the timing that we were waiting for, but with Bosku and Yoe in the area, they need to retreat. A bit of a strange flame break casted right on the floor. That must have been a misclick. As Jotun trying to close the distance for the lasso, but can't afford to run straight into this overwhelming magic damage. Pelosan still sitting at that level 4 though. Would love because of Avernus. Oh, blocked by the illusion. That's not what you wanted, but still they're able to claim the kill. Making use of both the Rupture as well as the Laguna Blade. DJ will be the one to pick that up.
They brought in more than one core, so that's even better than what I could ask for from them.
Radiant's top tower is
Quite a bit of
under attack.
stacks here for Bosku to
Still
clean up, bro.
3k behind, dude.
Yeah, I mean, they are a lot more scared to farm on the map. That early tower dropping in the bot side and the fact that they've got so deep to kill Jackie under his tier 2 just kind of plants that feeling of insecurity in his mind, and he's just not really sure where he can be safely.
And this is kind of the problem with Bloodseeker. Very feast or famine type of hero. And if he doesn't do well, he doesn't have the easiest way to recover. He needs that Maelstrom to start being able to, you know, amplify his farm.
So it's still going to be quite a ways away from that. Mikoto, the interesting thing for me is that he's opted for this boost of travel, but it hasn't really paid off on him yet. Like, we haven't seen the immediate impact, right? You want to try and make your first few items immediately impact the game, especially when you're the strongest core in your team by a long shot. The other two are struggling at the moment.
Are scanning.
He's still kind of focusing on himself a little bit, staying mid, not really joining the rest of the team with the rotations just yet. I can understand where his head's at. He doesn't want to potentially give up any kills, but
Radiant are scanning.
they're falling.
He doesn't want to
slowly
give
and
up the
slowly.
mid tower either.
Yeah, as soon as he's gone, you're always just going to get up in there.
I think Masaros, he's the hero that needs to be the most active. He's the hero that's going to be setting up these kills.
Yeah, but he still is at that top side. The Veil is complete. They've yet to really even threaten the top tower. Now, Jotun
Dire's
might have
top
been the
tower
one
is
to
under attack.
pop the cherry a little bit here. It will set up with Shadow Demon and the Lina. It's gonna be enough damage. The Laguna, not even, he's just gonna swoop away. I mean, half of that is safety bubble, half of that is one, but that is not a good sign.
No. They did TP Masaros in, but too little too late. So again, Masaros is falling behind a little bit.
Yeah, bottom net worth of the course. It's gotta be a while before we even think about any sort of item. Here we were thinking, oh, you know, he might just rush the BKB. No. No, he's a little bit famine mode right now. Diffuser complete for Palos. He's ready to get action started. And the Orb of Corrosion, such a great item this game against the Pudge and the Bloodseeker.
Dire
Absolutely. And
are
the Abaddon
scanning.
as well, right? Like,
Oh,
it's
true, true.
It's a value item.
Radiant's top tower is under
Smoke
attack.
up now, coming into the triangle. They've set up the vision and they see Masaros. That's the kill that they want. further dampen the already soggy game that he's been having.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Cuckoo
It's a
revealing
good way of
himself.
putting it. It has been a soggy game. Huh?
It is a
There's a
soggy
potential
game.
for it to dry out, but so far it hasn't been looking good.
Yeah, and you know what happens when you sort of leave wet clothes on yourself for too long? You start catching a cold and suddenly you're not as comfortable making these moves, and that's the best way to put it, right? Bleed. Every single move that they made so far, you can count them on one hand, and it feels like none of them have been really successful. The only one that really worked out is that 5-man rotation to the bot side.
Yeah, Bleed. It's just going to be one of those scenarios where they need to wait for their items once again. They need to hit their. They need to find their timing and hit it. And right now they've missed any sort of early game timing that they had.
Well, you did mention that Bleed are pretty good at hitting their timings overall. They might just have to look to the next one. I mean, with how threatening Darling's heroes are positioned, you can understand their fear. I mean, they're just getting almost herded like sheep right now.
Yeah, every single movement around the map that Bleed are making has been uneventful. Right, just 1 or 2 ganks have been successful, but overall, Makoto, Masaros haven't found anything really.
Yeah, we talked about our eyes being on this Pudge. DJ has set him up for success before. That was on a very, very different hero. This game struggling a little bit. And you look at the cause on the other side as the Pudge. There isn't really anyone enticing.
Yeah.
The difference is when they picked the Pudge at first, it was to counter the Naga, and that looked great. I don't really see what the Pudge is countering or dealing with this game in particular.
I think it was just one of those situations where every single hero in Masaros was banned. So you have to go back to a comfort pick, and it must be this Pudge.
I can't imagine he's feeling too comfortable now. He's eclipsed Jackie in terms of net worth, and I feel like this is one of the few games that, I mean, even in their loss to Aurora, Jackie found a way to get some farm, but this Bloodseeker, it is looking abysmal for him.
Yeah, full recovery mode on Bloodseeker right now. Right, and it's going to be recovery mode for a hot minute.
He's joined at the hip with this tier 2 tower for what feels like the past 5 minutes. He's not even daring to approach the camp surrounding because he knows there's vision control in the area. His only saving grace is that ward on that tiny little mountain as Drake walks forward with the Glimmer, the setup, but they can't commit so far in. You don't see the rest of the heroes on Bleed.
And that's where the danger steps in, right? One hook under tower into an LSA and you're done. Any hero right now. Maybe not the DK. Actually, no. Probably the DK too.
Radiant are
Yeah.
scanning.
My main concern is right now, even if you hook someone, do you kill them? You kind of need to both Rupture and Lagoon and hope that they walk around for a little bit for shits and giggles.
Well, you gotta Rupture them and then hook them. That's the combo.
True. Are they going to be in position to be Ruptured though? That's the question.
Yeah. And is Jackie willing to show his face to Rupture them? He's smoked out with his team right now, so he's clearly looking for some sort of engagement with that Rupture.
Yeah, Mikoto's presenting himself, but Peloson's in a great place to break the smoke. If they only lose this Abaddon, it's not too bad. They didn't want to respond though. The blink forward from the Dragon Knight. They found the Lina in some trouble, but nice Greaves, and now Masaros holding his ground. They haven't really been able to connect meaningfully yet, but they're starting to pull back. The poor Abaddon. Peloson will go down. Meanwhile, this member on the backside, they've held on to the Timbersaw. Masaros narrowly survives, but the Lina, their initial target, she will go down. Yoei finds it, and Bleed, the heroes, they're crumbling. DJ's last one here, but he's just gonna go down. Oh, Bosco. Oh, classic Cuckoo. You can't really blame him for wanting to be part of the festivities, but that's gonna lose them 4 heroes as well as the tower. Only saving grace is that the Bloodseeker evacuated in an instant.
I wouldn't even call that a saving grace. Bloodseeker was there for the fight, which means he wasn't farming.
True. This is a very big flip of the script as compared to last game where it felt like Darling, they were on the back foot for most of it. This time round, the early game has not worked out in Bleed's favor in the slightest. It's a 5-7 kill score, which looks fine on paper. A 7k goal lead at this juncture is crazy.
Yeah. And it's not... 1k gold lead for every kill that you have is kind of crazy.
Yeah. This represents how much you're out farming your opponents on the map.
And Palos, as this game goes later and later, isn't going to get like any less scary for you.
Just coming out onto this Abaddon right now, forcing the ultimate. Trick just puts away with his mana. They want to punish the Lion for walking up so far though, but Mikoto, what can you find? They turn around stun, but they're a bit too scared of Palos. Okay, the Rupture caught out on this slap. Jotun, he needs to pull out some moves here. A nice flame break. Stop that action in the Shadow Dance as well. Oh, Jackie, have you gone a bit too far forward? The hook out, narrowly dodging that last Chakram as Masaros able to fish his carry out of danger. The rest of the lead lineup, will they be quite as lucky? Jotun chasing on to Mikoto, who's run off to the side. You might have move speed, but you can't escape this stun. The waves, Yoei will say goodbye as DJ goes down to Palos as well. Got to dismember. Oh, they're threatening onto this slot. Able to Glimmer Cape away with the Bloodseeker Thirst. They spot him out, and this will be a huge kill for them to get Jackie. Can he chase down this slot? Looks very much like it. No. As they chop him down to size. That is very much needed. A double kill as Masaros. No mana, but he's still standing his ground. That's it. Shiva's revealed. And a very much needed one at that. Salvaging that fight for Bleed, it feels like.
That's going to put Jackie a lot closer to his BKB, which... we've seen Jackie with BKB before. Do I think it's going to change the state of this game? Probably not. Jackie might need 1 or 2 more items. But the BKB is going to keep him safe. He might feel safe enough to start farming a little bit more aggressively.
Look, I don't want to discount what Team Darling have done here. They've come a long way in this qualifiers. They've beaten multiple strong opponents. They put up great fight in games. But there is something to be said for, it's not how seriously they're taking it. I'm sure they're taking it seriously. But it goes back to the thing about the pressure, like we said. When you're a sponsored org and you sort of have deliverables in a way you want to achieve results, it's a lot more than just your own personal goals of wanting to be at tournaments, right? There's the org pressure as well. There's the pressure of the fans. There's just general public thinking that, you know, surely Bleed can do this. But you need to sort of tune it back on Darling. You can't be diving like that on Palos. That's the one way you give that game back into Bleed's hands.
Any sort of aggressive move behind the tier 2 tower 20 minutes into the game is not going to work out in your favor unless you're a Dragon Knight, and that's about it.
Yeah, even then, I mean, I'd argue to wonder whether Yoei has enough damage. Nice hook out. Masaros trying to save him, but not against the Finger of Death. Drake already has the shot, which means Masaros won't be really able to do much in this engagement. The Abaddon's trying his best to keep him alive, and Drake falling low. Jackie seems to clean up. They got the Dismember out onto the Timber Sword as well, who's able to Timber Chain his way out of there and start to kite back Bleed. They're holding their ground here under this tier 2 and tier 1 area. And Black... Oh, not Blackness. No, not Blackness. That was almost a poke onto Yoei on boss crew. But yeah, Darling will be able to escape. So they're starting to trade out even here. This is not really what you want if you're winning.
No, and we haven't seen that 8k lead go anywhere. It's kind of stagnated at 8k, which does favor Bleed, right? If you are stemming the bleeding, if you are stemming the bleeding, you're in a good position.
And you stopped to laugh at that one too. I really like that one.
Yeah, it was so good. So funny, dude.
Radiant's top tower.
This could be handy here. There isn't really much in the ways of slows that you can really dispel with DJ's Demonic Cleanse. I think it does work against the Hex though. That's the only one I'm really seeing, and maybe the Dragon Knight Brief Fire damage reduction.
Cleanse doesn't work on Lasso, does it?
It just might, because if I'm not wrong, it's a strong dispel. And
it's
that's
a
the same way that...
dispel. No.
Oh, okay, no. If it's a strong dispel, it'd be a bit too broken, I reckon.
Yeah, probably, especially for just a shard. Maybe the Ags, but just a shard, absolutely not.
Yeah, I feel like suddenly the priority, if it wasn't already, on DJ getting killed goes up by such a long shot. You need to eliminate him. Pelosan's a bit of a different story because it's going to take some time. But DJ's presence in these fights has been a deal breaker.
Radiant are scanning.
He's accumulated quite a little bit of net worth on the Shadow Demon as well, giving him some items to help him stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, not the Aether Lens per se. I mean, that kind of pseudo helps, but once he gets that Force Staff, it'll be very...
I don't know, I'm liable to say the Aether Lens does, right? It keeps him so far back in these fights that no one can really pressure him.
Okay, fair. I mean, that particular fight, you just kind of got caught off guard, right? But beautiful hook from Masaros to save that situation. Darling, they're still in a really good spot though. 10k gold lead, like you mentioned, 1k for every kill. They're not at risk of sort of losing this position. And it almost seems like post that crazy dive where Palos actually ended up dying, they are playing a lot more disciplined now.
Yeah, they recognize that the god can die, right? Like the end all be all, the carry of your game
Dire's
can still
structures
die,
are
and you have to respect that.
This Slug has really suited up though. Aghanim Scepter
Dire's
complete on
middle
top of the
tower
Mage
is
Slayer
under
and the
attack.
Bracer. Just so much stats and HP to work with. Here was some of the magic damage coming out from Bleed.
We've got 2 Mage Slayers right now on the side of Darleng, so Lina, Pudge, Shadow Demon, Bloodseeker, a lot of the magic damage that you're able to do is starting to get lessened.
Yeah. Magic resistance very, very important. Eternal Shroud as well, picked up by the Timbersaw. Very value here in this particular game. The Dragon Knight, we didn't really mention it, but he's actually doing a very significant amount of damage in these fights, right? Even though you're ignoring Palos or kiting him around, you need to watch out for Yoe. He's able to just 100 to 0 some of your squishier heroes.
Especially with that Manta-style Big Dragon form. Very scary. You get on pretty much anyone, maybe even the Lina, and you kill them.
Yeah, I mean, they got pretty close just now. He clearly isn't scared enough of anything. As Darling, they'll take this opportunity to waltz into the Roche Pit. It's time, they say.
Radiant
Bleed,
are
they're
scanning.
right there on their tails. Drake and Jotun, they might not be expecting this. They haven't set up the vision just yet. Oh, the fear comes out. Oh, just gonna miss. Masaros, can you imagine if he snagged one of the supports? This Roche
Radiant's
fight
top
would have been
tower
so
is
difficult for
under
them.
attack.
But re-smoke up. They're gonna find a different entry point into this fight. It is 25 minutes to reach Roche. He's going back home, like you like to say. And suddenly this positioning that Darling were having just gets completely forfeit. It's all on Bleed to set up the vision appropriate to try and defend this Roche that they might potentially go for. TPs come out in mass.
TPs.
Oh, the tier 1 being still alive is so difficult for Bleed. Spot on the photo. Watch yourself, Lasso. Heard one. Looks like he's pulling back onto this poor Bloodseeker, and Jackie's just dead. Beautiful pick off from Jotun to find the carry of Bleed. And now Masaro's in some trouble. Disruption will buy him some time, but Pelosa, and he already knows it's time to go. They no longer stand a chance here in this fight. And it's all thanks to that Bat Rider and his keen eye.
Jackie, even with the BKB, you are not safe enough when you get caught out by a lasso. Bleed are kind of fumbling the bag a little bit. They
Dire's
had,
middle tower is
you know,
under
this
attack.
weird draft, but they're not hitting their
Dire's
hooks.
middle tower
They didn't hit their lane timings that they wanted. They didn't have the good enough lanes that they wanted. And,
into the dive.
oh, anyone? Drix, is there anyone? Hello? Anyone?
They're thinking
Aegis?
about it. Bosco.
Okay, there we go.
Of course, they gotta give it to the captain. What a way to do it. Palos not even feeling threatened enough to take that for himself, as DJ will just go down. How many stacks on this little fishy boy now? 7? That's a good amount.
Yeah. It's more than the flesh heap stacks on Pudge. And this was kind of the thing that we talked about the last time we saw the Pudge. Was that if he's not getting flesh heap stacks, he's a lot less tanky than he'd like to be.
Absolutely. Only 3. I mean, he did have a decent timing with the Shiva's reveal, but at this point, you really, really need that BKB. And more than anything, you need that vision. You can't allow Darling to just initiate on whoever they want there.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
We have
Radiant
seen a
are
few
scanning.
dismembers go pretty much uncontested, but it didn't amount to anything. And that's the big problem.
Well, seeing the problem with the Pudge as well, right? Even if you have a good or decent early game where you get item timings, somewhere down the line, it's such a difficult, I guess, maneuver to try and make something out of a hook. You'll start dismembering out, but immediately there's the lasso, like we mentioned. Demonic cleanse on this Pudge to try and help him out. As Mikoto able to start doing damage from the sidelines, he's got to watch his positioning though, as Jackie starting to come in and clean out, but he's dropping low as well. It's starting to work out for the Bleed side. Disruption going to keep him safe as Palos finally looking to retreat. Bosku will lose that first life of the Aegis. This is about as good of a fight as Bleed could have asked for, taking down 2 and the Aegis at the same time without losing their 2 most important cores.
And they sound the horn to retreat, which is perfect. That's exactly what they need to do. They could not push the envelope anymore there.
Absolutely not. And Jackie, you see why he's queuing up. He knows he needs the damage.
Radiant's middle tower
The
is
shot.
under attack.
Just doing that percentage HP.
It's so good.
Oh, sorry.
So good this
Yeah, no, sorry, not percentage HP. Pure damage, sorry.
Okay, okay. Still very good this game, right? These high armor
Still-
heroes.
Still pretty insane, yeah.
Oh
That's
no.
right through them. Not the hero you can afford to lose. There's the disruption, nicely done. Holds him in place and he'll be fine. Take a look at how important Jackie is to Bleed. They TP in both supports. They have no idea where the rest of the Darling heroes are. They only see Timbersaw briefly in the top side. But that could have been a disastrous loss of both of them. But it's just all about this Bloodseeker now.
As long as it saves Jackie. Jackie for the world at this point, right? You're even going to throw Masaros in there if you have to.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what happened in that fight, right? Masaros knows. And you really got to respect this because some Pudgers, they get a little scared of death. You can't afford to be. You need to just throw those hooks and set up for your team. That's your only job this game.
Yeah. Even hooking a hero like the Dragonite, a hero that you don't necessarily want to be hooking, you have to commit for something on the Pudge, right? Draw the attention towards you, which means the rest of your heroes are uncontested.
Now, small little caveat, it's no Luna, but the Dragonite illusions that the Shadow Demon could create will be pretty handy as well. And
yeah,
we know how Shadow Demon works. If you're sending the Mantas out, you can still make illusions out of that to fight against each other. So now, pressuring out onto the tier 2, not really a position that Bleed feel comfortable fighting. Mid tier 2 is a different story, but these side lanes, you can essentially just forfeit them. It's not going to be favorable for you, especially around so many trees.
Bleed will look to clean up this tier 1 top as a rebuttal.
About time, honestly, Jeeves.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely about time.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Bloodseeker, okay. Lincoln Sphere is the item queued up after that shard for Bloodseeker. Does it do anything for you this game? Because it's not really doing it for me.
I get where it's coming from. He's just worried about the instant stun. Speaking of stun, Jotun in some trouble here. They just melt down that Bat Rider, and looks like Cuckoo might be next. Dismember up. Where's the interrupt? Yoe needs to come in with the stun, but it's not in time. The Timbersaw is going down. It's a lot of damage coming out from this Dragonite, though. Able to work down both Masaros as well as Peloson. But in the face of the BKB Bloodseeker, you can't actually fight anymore. Jackie's able to clean up. And once again, an even trade will just favor Bleed.
Yeah, once again, the gold lead is not really going up.
It
is a little bit, and that just is because you have so much map control.
Uh-oh, Jackie, no BKB, but again, DJ always there with his disruption to keep him in place. Taking a lot more from Palos. Gets the Shadow Dance off in time, and no more save to get Mikoto out of there. Just go down. Really nicely done by Palos more than anything, just timing his spells just correctly. Taking advantage of the fact they don't really have any disable once Masaros is down.
That was a lot of disrespect going both ways.
Yeah.
Right, I feel like Bleed did not respect the Slark enough. Makoto just kind of commits on the Slark and he just turns around and kills you. Like, so what, dude? I don't care. I pop Shadow Dance, I live. And then on the other hand, Paolo's jumping high ground like that. Very disrespectful. Right?
I mean, yeah, he thought he could get a freebie. And
yeah.
I don't blame him, right? That Bloodseeker looked mad juicy.
Absolutely. No BKB, why not, right?
Bleed losing qualifiers on Blood Hero. App. Bleed winning qualifiers on Blood Hero. App. We don't know what's going to happen yet. 15k gold lead. I can't help but feel like there still is an angle for Bleed, although the margin is narrowing really quick. It's a nice disruption again to stop Masaros from being under any threat, but with that lasso, they pull back DJ as well. A Photic Shield committed on this Shadow Demon, but now Jackie's in trouble. Forced to just BKB. Use up, will buy him some time, but it's actually an enemy use just for the setup. Poloson can't save him in time, and they lose two without any sort of just kind of snatch back.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
So this Lincoln's has been finished on Slark, and this is one thing that I'm a lot more happy about. Right, the Lincoln's on Slark is going to do a lot more this game because you don't have too many ways of getting rid of it.
Be careful, jump in straight away, Yoe. They're on to Jackie, the 4-stars will save him. DJ forced to buy back as well as Masaros. Have they committed a bit too deep? The Pudge, he's in the middle of everyone on the enemy team. Just getting disrupted, saving him for now. But he's falling so low. Ogre Seal Totem gets him out to safety, and Bleed managed to hold.
This makes it all worthwhile.
Hard high ground push without Aegis for Darling, but they get a lot of damage on the tier 3 tower, so without losing anyone and getting the Tormentor, you should be pretty happy with that one.
Flamethrower, Boss 2. Gotta be very happy about that additional tool for him to just burn up the Bleed heroes. to an absolute crisp. And I mean, we once again go back to the whole sentiment of this particular matchup and the whole sentiment of Team Darling and their success. I think, you know, when it first sort of came together, we know that Cuckoo is still streaming consistently. We're not really sure whether this heralds a return to pro play of any sort, but as far as we know, this was kind of a casual, let's see what we can get done here. And what we can get done is top 4 in Southeast Asia right now, and potentially 3.
Yeah, for a team that has just been made for this specific qualifiers,
I think
they're performing incredibly well.
Yeah, I think what the words you're trying to find is for a team that are piss chilling. Literally zero org pressure. Everyone's just watching for the fun of it. You know, all the Cuckoo fans are in chat just making memes, you know, laughing about the picks. Probably just having a good one, a great old cackle about how he managed to do it on the Viper after becoming universal there. I know I would be. And suddenly Bleed backs against the ropes. This is not where they expected to find themselves after that game number 1 for sure.
Now, we talked about how the net worth was slowly, you know, not going up. It has quickly shot up for Darling. Now a 24k lead in Bleed. I don't know if there's too much you can do right now. Pudge has lower net worth than both of the supports on the side of Darling.
That is a problem. We're starting to see why Darling, they favor this Dragon Knight so much. It didn't really work out on Cuckoo because he was sort of playing more of a farm-centric role when his team needed him to get involved early. The lanes didn't go the hottest. But in the mid lane, up against Mikoto, where he was able to draw even, Yoe is doing so much work this game. Top of the net worth. I'd love to see his damage numbers once this game settles, regardless of which way it goes, because I'm sure he's up there. Octarine Core completed as well, so his cooldowns are like nothing.
Yeah. And his survivability just shot up as well, right? That's quite a bit of HP for the Dragon Knight too.
Absolutely. Still working on that BKB to become truly invulnerable. He's reaching a scary point similar to...
at that point.
Yeah. Do you... begs the question, I haven't seen a level 25 Dragon Knight in a while. Do you go AoE Dragon Tail? Or do you go 12 regen on Dragon Blood and armor?
Ooh, I don't know. I feel like this game you could definitely make a case for the AoE Dragon Stun.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It would be pretty cool to see. For now, both teams tempting fate here in this mid lane. Masaros will be the only one who shows himself. But once again, it's Yoe into the mix, the disruption. To pull him out of there, suddenly this battlefield has gotten a bit dangerous. Here comes Bosku among the tree line. Found Mikoto. It's a nice supporting shield to fish him out of there. And the BKB immediately popped. There goes Jackie. Straight onto the Timbersaw. They're trying to work him down. Laguna will end up Lagunaing himself. But Cuckoo can't get out of here. On the backside though, Masaros gets cleaned up by Palos. And here comes the big bad Slark looking for Palosan as well. Trying to TP out, but I believe there's a second pounce available. No, not even needed. Rick is there with the Hex. They found a second. They at the very least get Cuckoo, but they need to flee now. Okay. Stunning up onto Yoe, but like we mentioned, he is so tanky. And you can't afford to stand around when Palos is in the area. Now working on the racks.
Radiant structures are fortified.
This fortification ain't gonna do much. This will not stop Darling from this aggression.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack.
Bleed fans, you need to give them your energy now more than ever. 50 seconds without your Abaddon. And the Pudge as well, he just has not hit the mark this game. Masaros, he's brought it back many times for this Bleed lineup, but it doesn't seem to be quite right this time now.
Masaros, he doesn't have buyback because of cooldown anyways, but he actually bought out, instead of the BKB, he bought out for an Aghanim Scepter, and I can't help but question if that was the right play.
Yeah, that's not that 2 racks. Yoe, he's just absolutely... He's so comfortable here, he doesn't even care. This Dragon Knight, I mean, this more than makes up for some of the shakier performances that he's had. I feel like he's really turned it on ever since that Game 2 Ember. That was phenomenal. And now repeating this kind of fiery performance on the Dragon Knight as well.
There are quite a lot of heroes that you need to ban out against Darling, right? You can't give them this DK anymore, I feel like. They've been too prominent on it, too good and willing to flex as well. DK's just been a key hero for them recently.
Yeah, and for those of you on this stream, the whole way you might have missed it, but the Aurora versus Neon matchup obviously has ended. It's been a while. It'd be funny if it somehow went longer than this. but Neon, I'm sure, are keenly watching to see who their opponents will be, as it seems more and more likely that that'll be Darling. If there's Aegis on the DK, they understand that he is their primary objective taker now.
Bleed could fight here, actually, because DK just showed mid and Batrider's bottom.
Yeah, but the creep wave is pushing into your mid lane right now, giving you a lot of vision and knowledge. Nobody addressing this means that they're somewhere perched out on the map, looking for an opportunity. Mikoto, you gotta watch yourself, DJ. Nowhere nearby to save you if things get hairy.
Radiant's bottom
Instead, it's good old objective Dota time.
Yeah, the tip comes through. Yeah, you thought you could counterpick me? That's classic. Aesthetics cap on Yowie also makes it even harder to set up any sort of a burst on him for his first life, let alone the second. Look back, they've ruptured him and they're able to do quite a significant bit of damage. Hidden under invisibility right now, but that is what the Shadow Demon ultimate does to you. Just put you down into the grave. They've lassoed Mikoto down to the low ground, but no follow-up for now as Palos isn't able to connect. They'll put the sentry down, Hex up as well. Mikoto, he can't afford to die here. He doesn't have buyback. He's trapped in the middle of the whole side of Darling. As the fight's getting a little scattered, they aren't really able to connect on any meaningful target. They've already lost the first life on the Dragon Knight. And the Dragon form no longer is available. Another hook through Masaros. There he goes. It's a beautiful triple stun though. Drake, essentially a Ravage that's setting up. Meanwhile, Yowie desperately just trying to play objective gaming as Cuckoo tanking up so much. Masaros finished off by the finger and he's out of the picture. Disruption will keep Jackie alive for now, but the hopes bleed draining from their faces. The blood as GG is called. They are out of the tournament, and would you believe it? A crazy reverse sweep from the side of Darling, and they'll be one of your top 3 teams remaining in the Southeast Asia Close Qualifiers for DreamLeague Season 22. Unreal series.
A lot of people were questioning if